Hello, I'm John, and this is the third episode of In the Kingdom, where we're going to be going over some of the parables that Jesus begins with, the kingdom of heaven is like, or some variation thereof. So today I'm sitting on my floor so that I can be on the same level as my bookshelf behind me. So I just graduated college a few weeks ago, and over the last 4 years of school, I've filled up 2 bookshelves and then some with both textbooks, and then my colleges had a lot of book giveaways that I grabbed things from. So at the beginning of last week, after I graduated, I went through all of my books and decided which ones I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to get rid of. Some I kept because I hadn't read them yet. Some of them I kept because I thought they'd be really useful resources in the future. Some of them, like this one right here, are just really old and cool, and I wanted to hold on to it, and it was a gift. So there are lots of different reasons why I kept some, but I also threw some out. So my car is full of books right now that I need to take to a bookstore once it opens back up. In today's parable, Jesus talks about things being separated. Some are kept, and others are thrown away. In Matthew 13, 47 through 50, Jesus tells this parable. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted, good into some piles, and bad they threw away. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate evil from the righteous, and throw them into a fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. To Jesus' audience, men throwing nets into the sea would have been a familiar image. However, it's not really for us. It's not something we see every day. So I wanted to give you some images that you would be familiar with. I already gave the example of throwing out some books and keeping others. So we used to move a lot when I was younger, and sometimes we would rent a dumpster. And we would use this dumpster because, as you've known if you've lived in the same place for a long time, you just gather all of this junk that you have no real need for. And some of it we would not want to move with us. So we would rent this dumpster and we would throw a lot of it away. Some of it we'd bring to Goodwill, and then some of it we'd keep. We separated all that we had, and we kept some of it but threw others away. What image of separation comes to your mind when you read this parable? Let me know in the comments below of this video, because I would love to read through those. The question that I ask myself when I read this parable is, what did Jesus want the people to do when they heard him? So pause this video for just a moment and think about that. Think about what Jesus would have wanted them to do. I think the answer is simple. He wanted them to be righteous. The righteous and the wicked are going to be separated. And which group do you want to be in? I personally want to be in the group that doesn't involve a fiery furnace or weeping and gnashing of teeth. Our culture, just like every other culture, encourages certain sins and discourages others. If you're a Christian, you can't take part in the immorality, materialism, and self-worship that we see is so prevalent in our culture. We need to be different than the world around us. So what does this look like practically? I don't know how often you pray, but I'm going to encourage you to set aside a few minutes right now and pray. Ask God to reveal an area of your life where you are living more like the world than like his child. I said earlier that the answer is simple, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Living righteously is not easy. Christians are called to do a lot of hard and difficult things, and one of them is choosing righteousness over what might seem like fun, over easiness, over wealth, and over fitting in with those around us. Holiness is difficult, but we can do it with God. God gives us that ability. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And I'd like to leave off by praying like usual. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to spend time diving into a parable that you told us. God, I pray that we can live differently than those around us, that we can serve you rather than serving the world. It's in your name that I pray.